Hi. Hello, hello. I'm starting a little early just so I can give more people an opportunity to come into the room. So take your time, do what you ready to do, and we'll get started. I made myself a beverage. It's very juice heavy. Oh, okay. A lot of times I don't even pay attention. I just know that I have my base, which is tequila, high domestic gordita, and then I have a citrus note, so like a lime or a lemon. In this case, lemon. And then I do either a secondary alcohol source like Contro, or sometimes it is a sparkling like Prosecco or champagne. But for this one, I think I just did tequila. I did tequila in two types of juices. hmm I didn't put Aperol in this one. So you can do Aperol too instead of Contro or triple sec. But I also had some blackberry puree. Let me tell you. So for Halloween, I threw a little Halloween party here at the building, and I presented my neighbors with two options of beverages. One was something called Witch's Brew, and the other one was called a Bloody Margarita. Now, the Bloody Margarita had tequila, Aperol, which is the orange element, but it can be bitter. So it had two different types of juices to kind of offset that bitter taste of the orange Aperol. But Aperol is an alcohol, so we got two alcohols in it. And so it was tequila, Aperol, lime juice, I believe pomegranate juice, and the blackberry puree. So what you're seeing here, which you just heard Zagato, what you're seeing here is the pomegranate juice. Good old pomegranate juice. So this is a less boozy version of that. It's a pomegranate juice, it's the lime, it's the tequila, but I added some. So my neighbor for my birthday got me one of those mixers that has glitter in it, and so it's just basically a juice mixer with the edible glitter, and so in here is edible glitter juice mixy. Okay, so the other drink was called a Witch's Brew, and that one was really juice heavy. That one had agave nectar. That one had tequila as the base. That one had blood orange juice, as well as it was another juice. I don't remember what it was. It's all gone. Maybe no. Was it the pomegranate? Did I have to drink with two pomegranates? No. I don't know. And then it had a little cinnamon on top, so it gave a little like warm wintry beverage. That was cute. Okay, so hello everyone coming into the room. What time is it? It's 6:01. We'll get started in 4 minutes. Hey Wah. Hi Joy. Hi Mr. and Mrs. Steeler. Hi Queen Kathy B. I have to get that bag away from Gacho because he is having a field day over there. Oh, I'm so sorry. The time for you to be making all this noise is over. Yeah, no. You could have made that noise. Okay, let me tell you what the richest brew was. I don't know why I'm trying to guess like I don't have it in the group chat. Melissa, thank you so much for the hee hee ha ha's. I appreciate it. Appreciate that, Melissa. Thank you very, very much. Okay, let's go to the group chat so I can tell you guys what beverages were made. Okay, so I was wrong. So the Witch's Brew had pomegranate juice, Oh no, sorry. The Bloody Margarita had pomegranate juice, no, 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 no. Why can't I see this? This is the witch's brew. Okay, great. So the witch's brew had pomegranate juice, blood orange juice, ground cinnamon, tequila, and agave syrup. So that one just had the tequila as the alcohol, and then it was just juicy after that. But the mixture between the blood orange and the pomegranate and the cinnamon gave it a distinctly autumn feel, right? It was very autumny. Now, the Bloody Margarita was tequila, Aperol, blackberry syrup, and lime juice. So the Aperol and the tequila are two spirits, they're two alcohols. And the blackberry syrup, super sweet. So it took the place of the triple sec sweetness and whatever else you might put into a margarita. It was good. So I basically have done a witch's brew without the cinnamon in this drink, and I added the blackberry to it. So I guess I can try the witch's brew again because I have lots of pomegranate juice. That blood orange juice, girl, expensive. Okay, expensive. That's expensive juice. So I had to chill on that, but yeah, otherwise quite delicious. Quite delicious. Okay, we'll get started in 2 minutes here. Oh, 31 people. How come nobody's commenting? 31 people and only a couple comments. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up for sure. Okay, let's bring up my notes. And let's prepare myself. We'll start at the 8-minute mark. Oof, 29 people in the room. Please give this video a thumbs up, you guys. We'll get started here in 30 seconds. Oh my God, there's a Halloween pack? What is this? This whole time? I could have had this up? Oh my God. How come I didn't see this? How come I didn't see this whole time? So rude. I'll do this. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of Love is Blind Season 9, Episode 13. This is the reunion. My name is Wah. I do recaps of relationship reality TV shows such as Love is Blind, 90 Day Fiancé, Love After Lockup, Seeking Sister Wife. So if you are at all interested in that content, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If while watching this, you get the hee-hee ha-has and you want to give your girl a tip, you can do so with the options down below. For the international girlies, you can just do a thanks here on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, I don't know what to tell you, but hi. All right, look at these cool little overlays that I got. So late in the game. Who knew? I never saw this whole entire month. How come there's not a new one for November? Anyways, sorry, my nose is starting to run. Let me take care of that. All right, so let's jump right into this recap. So, as reunions go, this wasn't that bad. It turns out that instead of it being about a year since the show, since they filmed the show, it's been about a year and a half. So, all of the participants seemed a little like they had to bring back up what had happened a year and a half ago. You know what I mean? They had mentioned that they had stopped filming in April, but that to me clearly wasn't this last April because they said that it had been over a year since it happened. So I'm like, did they stop filming in April of 2024. That means they went all through 2024 and most of 2025. So that's crazy. This is not fresh on their minds. This is like really old news. And you can tell that the cast is like, it was so long ago, I don't really care. And then it's like the people who were trying to make it seem like it just happened, like Madison, looked crazy for it. Okay. So we start off with somebody named Miles Smith singing what sounded like folk music. Not my folks, but other people's folks music. And folks in the audience knew the song. So who am I? Because I didn't know who that man was, never seen him in my life, never heard that song. And then they had the audacity to have these women walking down the most treacherous steps in 4 to 5 inch stiletto heels. I mean, these steps were treacherous. They were cobbled, okay? They had grooves, they had dents, and there was nobody at the base to help them down. It was rude, frankly. It was rude. So they walk down these steps. They all sit down. Jordan is wearing a tux, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then we find out it's his birthday. Maybe that's why he's wearing a tux. He's wearing a tux with like no socks and then like a slipper shoe. Now I say slipper because that's the style of shoe. It's like an opera slipper, which is the style of shoe he had on, not an actual house slipper. And so Vanessa asked Jordan why Megan didn't pick him. And at this point, Jordan is not feeling the same level of intensity he felt when we last saw him. And he's like, it's it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, I don't know. I think we realized that we weren't right for each other, and so it's fine. And then we see that Megan has gotten thicker, and we're just like, okay, life is life. And they made mention about the comment he made about Luca and how he wished that he hadn't introduced Luca to her if she was just going to, I guess, not get married to him. And so he cleared that up and he said, I was talking about doing this show as in general. Like, I put myself out there to do this show. And with doing this show, meaning that I introduced my child to somebody very early on in the process. And so she then turns to Megan and is like, Vanessa turns to Megan and is like, so like, do you still feel like you can't be a mom? And she's like, no, I don't feel that at all. And we find out that her and her new man got pregnant after 3 months and now have a baby. So I feel like this bald man, looks like he's relatively successful and probably makes more money than Jordan and is probably living the lifestyle that she wants to lead. And I wish the best for them. I think when you get to a certain point, you're an adult. If you want to have kids with this person, then have kids. If you accidentally got pregnant by this person, then have that baby. I mean, you had sex unprotected. So, my philosophy, it doesn't have to be your philosophy, but my philosophy is if you have sex unprotected, you're not trying to not have babies. Because trying to not have babies means that you are gobbling down, chewing on tablets of birth control and or using protection. Like, otherwise, you're somewhat open to the idea of having babies. It's pretty black and white for me. I know there are people who are like, no, I don't want to have any kids, but I'm still out here having unprotected sex. And I'm like, nah, you're open to it. You're open to it. So anyways, congratulations to Megan. She had a baby. She's 2.5 months postpartum. And I wrote, Megan's partner is a grown-ass man. That's what I wrote. So they stopped filming in April. And she met this new man in July. And so after 3 months, then she got pregnant. So if we're doing the math, they met in July, August, September, October. She got pregnant in October. And then October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. She had that baby in July or around there. And now July, August, September, October, she's 2.5. You know what I mean? So yes, it was definitely April of 2024. So these people, it's over a year. It's over a year. Okay. So let's take that into consideration while we're having these conversations. These people have been anonymous to the entire world until a month ago. And all of a sudden in 1 month, their whole entire world blows up. And I think we see that a lot in Casey. I think we see Casey trying to defend herself when she's already gotten over it and she feels like her and Patrick are cool. And so she is trying to just be like, well, I don't want to exactly say that I was wrong, but it's like, girl, you're caught on candid camera. Basically saying, no, love is not blind. I saw that man and I was like, absolutely not. That is not my Asian fantasy. Okay. He don't look like Jet Li Nem. Who's this man? This was not my fantasy. This is not my Chinese Cambodian fantasy. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I said that looks didn't matter, but they do. And the truth is that Patrick is not ugly. I mean, the way he talks to me is ugly. The way he's like, yeah, dude, so we were like going together and we were like getting things, and I just want Casey to know that I really like her, and I feel like as people that if she just apologizes, like, Casey, if you just say, I'm sorry, Patrick, like, all you've got to do is show me that you love me, and I would have asked for the ring back. But, it is what it is. So she's not a bad person. Like, I'm totally into it. But, Casey, all you have to do in front of America right now is apologizing for being a liar and not loving me the way, because I'm a bro. I cannot stand the way Patrick talks. Like, it's too much for me. It's too much. So anyways. Girl, what are you doing? Get off my live and answer my text. First of all, get off my live and answer my text. Anyways, so Patrick, cutting to them. Kate, Casey, and Patrick come out. And they asked Patrick about how he felt about hearing Casey, saying the things that she said. And when she tries to explain herself, somebody in the audience is like, give me a break. And then they have this whole conversation that about the ring and how he wanted it back. And Allie was like, I don't get it. Like, Netflix bought the ring. Like, why do you want it back? And he says that it's symbolic. If I could just have the ring back because it's like symbolic for our love. And then someone else was like, I thought you said Anna was number one. So that's Casey. Casey is like, first, Casey kept trying to make him out to be the bad guy. And he's like, girl, I'll say it in his voice. He's like, yeah, Casey, that like we were there for 10 days and Anna left after the first 3 days. And so like, yeah, in the beginning, Anna was my number one, bar none. But then she left. So then you became my number one, babe. And, it was just that. It was a lot of Casey and Patrick going back and forth, and her not wanting to acquiesce to looking like a fucking racist on TV and trying to defend herself and talking about how her family loves colored people and how they just love to date outside of the race. And then when it came time for her to do it, she's like, absolutely not. You don't look American enough for me. I'm not into it. And all she had to go was like, you know what? I thought love was blind, and the truth is it's not blind. And I was wrong. And Patrick, I am so sorry. I thought this experiment was for me, and it was not. And I knew I didn't want to go to the islands with you because I wasn't physically attracted to you and I didn't want to have sex. So like, there's that. So, I mean, right? Okay. So then they move on and they bring out an LA Clipper after Casey gives back the ring. And this LA Clipper, for some reason, I think they want us to know that the Clippers are playing. And they shoot basketballs. Casey ends up winning the basketball shoot. And, Edmmond participates by holding the ball because he's so excited. And then they go for the ring. And so he ends up giving Casey back the ring. It's so stupid. And it's like, who cares? So we find out that Joe and Casey went on dates afterwards. And let me tell you, there is nothing more scorned. There is nobody in this world more scorned than a brunette against a blonde. Okay? And I'm talking about in white culture. Because the way that Madison is feeling some kind of way that Casey and Joe went on a date, she actually was like, you interrupted my experience with my fiance, and that's why he didn't want me. And I'm like, this girl on girl crime is like really unbecoming of Madison. Because we all knew that Joe wasn't shit, and he wasn't shit for her. He wasn't feeling her. She looks beautiful, and every single one of these women on stage have gotten their fillers. They've gotten their lips filled and their cheeks filled. If not their cheeks, they're definitely their lips. It was a lot of, yeah, that's what I thought. It was a lot of that. But I feel like Madison just came in real hard. Like, she thinks that they broke up because of Casey. And she referred to Casey. She's like, oh, we were at some event and Casey had her 2 paws on Joe's chest. I felt like those was fighting words. You're not going to refer to my dainty feminine fingers as paws in any circumstances. This would have been a Love and Hip Hop moment for me. You're not going to refer to my fucking hands as paws, you dumb bitch. Like, that's what it would have been. You couldn't tell. We watched this entire season. We watched this man not love you. And you were over here telling me that I had my paws on him. Okay. I'm like, Casey girl, that's where you needed to stand up and defend yourself, not against Patrick, but against Madison. So Madison feels real, like she just feels so vindicated, but looks so stupid. So then we find out that Joe is dating some girl named Avery. And Madison still feels like she wants clarity. Kate and Avery are friends. So it's just all very just like intertwined. And Joe is like, we fought and effed and fought. Like, I don't know what to tell you. We had really good sex. And I think Madison construed the really good sex with like love. You know what I mean? Because I get that. I get that. When you finally find someone that you're having like gushy, good, like seizing up your innards sex, and he's having a great time and you're having a great time, and you're like, I didn't know I wasn't having a great time until I had sex with you, and now I realize that all that wasn't a great time. It's really hard to let it go. And I think what happens is that women forget that like when we have good sex, it is a lot harder to duplicate than men. And I don't care. The men can sound it if they want to. I know that there are men out there who are like, I have bad sex too. I'm like, okay, good, great. But the majority of women who don't have satisfying sex is like astronomical. It's actually unfair. It's actually unfair. So moving on. So Nick ended up feeling like he had closure with Kate. Nick came with his PR ready to go. He was willing to take shots and be called out. There is something so false about Nick, but I can't even fault him. I feel like we live in a world where I think that based on his probable, I don't know, socioeconomic status and political views, that he is set up, propped up to be a villain. And I am not mad at him taking the PR route to get out of it. Whether or not that means that he's a genuine person in real life, I don't care. I'm not going to ever date him. Like, I don't have any dog in that fight. So I don't need for him to be real. Now, for the girls who dated him, I understand the necessity of that. And I think he did show us who he was when we saw his beautiful cabin on the hill. But I think that comes with that is a lot of very rigid thinking. And so why would he put his luxury watch sale business in jeopardy in order to, like, I don't know, be real? Like, no, PR the whole shit, the whole through. Say exactly what you need to say so no one can say anything besides it seemed fake. Okay, it seemed fake. Okay, great. I'm a celebrity, so I'm going to seem fake sometimes. Thanks. Thank you. I have a family, and I don't want my family and their businesses to suffer because I said something crazy, because I said something misogynist, because I said something whatever. Like, let Nick present himself in the way that he wants to present himself. He didn't get married. And what's crazy about it is that I think people are like, oh, he's so fake. But he's the one who called off the wedding. It's not like he was like, he's so fake and trying to then be on the show still. He was like, I'm so fake, I'm bowing out, actually. I can't handle it. I'm bowing out. And I like that for him. They talk about the fact that Nick and Joe might have some beef. Joe says that he already apologized to Nick. Nick formally accepted his apology on TV. Joe apologized again. So it's fine. Like, It's fine. We talk about Brendan a little bit. He wasn't there, so who cares? Annie ends up defending Nick too and saying that like it's not fair to judge him based on these things. Annie says that she was chasing the feeling that she had in the pod, and she sees herself trying to force the relationship when she knew it wasn't working. And so, like, listen, we're all good here. We're all good here, right? I feel like people were trying to make it more, at least Nick and Vanessa were trying to like squeeze more juice out the lemon. And I was like, girls, guys, it's too late. These folks are over it. It's again, a year and a half of peace, or a year and a peace. And then all of a sudden a year and a half of peace, and all of a sudden 1 month of no peace, of being dragged through the mud. These folks, including Edmmond, don't even remember what really happened because it was just like a blur in their life a year and a half ago, and they've all moved on. Speaking of move on, Anton and Allie. So Allie looks great. Anton looks great. We talk a little bit about their relationship. Allie says that in the pods, Anton was more open and more talkative, but then when they got into the real world, he wasn't. And I can honestly relate to that. I truly feel like in an isolated event, in isolated situations like this, being live with you, I'm charismatic, I'm open, I'm chatting, I'm talking. But as soon as I turn this off, I will be silent for the next 5 hours. Like, I'm somebody who, when I get home from work, Gato better leave me alone, and he knows it. When I wake up, Gato leaves me alone. It takes me like 2 hours to warm up, an hour and a half to warm up. Like, I have to be on at work, and even at work, sometimes I have to shut myself down for 2 hours. It is just the way that I maneuver. And I didn't realize that about myself, honestly, until I moved in with a family member. And that family member expected me to come home and like sit down at the table and chat with them before I went up to my room after I got home. And I was like, oh no, girl. Like, when I get home, I go upstairs and I like decompress. Like, I'll come back and talk to you maybe in 2 hours, but like, I cannot engage in conversation. And that person felt very offended. They were like, oh, this is not what I expected from you. And I thought it was weird that you expect that expectation had even happened to begin with. But I can see it, because when I would see that person outside of a home domicile situation, I was very animated and I was always talking to them. I had much to say, but that's because I didn't see them but once every 3 weeks, once a month. So I had a lot to talk about. And so I completely understand that with Anton. Now I can see why Allie would want something different, because when you're trying to get to know someone, you have to make extra effort. But at the same time, I don't know that Anton was aware of how he was coming off. And I think that just has to do with like the short time frame. I'm telling you right now, I'm more like Jordan. I wouldn't have called it out the way Jordan called it out. Like, Jordan was really annoyed with Megan for wanting to chat after work, but like, I get it. Like, I just need peace. I need peace when I get home. And that's why I'm like, oh, I don't know about kids. I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do that. Oh my God. Girl, where you been at? Girl, what? Where you been, girl? I looked up and I saw your login or whatever this is, and I'm like, girl, how you been, sis? How you been? I've been back for like 2 months. How you been? I hope that you've been well, honestly. I hope that you've been well. You're still one of my moderators. Thank you so much, Marsha. I got 3 moderators in the room. I love that. Or 2. But anyways, let me take a break. Let me take a breather. Whew. You guys go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Let me check. Oh, check my friend out. Okay, great. It's like he responded to the one I called out. But anyways, yes, absolutely, sis. Absolutely. Asteroidia Black. Speaking of Asteroidia, or asteroids, I am a low-key fan of Neil Tyson exactly, low key. That's why I don't know how to say it. I don't know his name. Neil deGrasse Tyson. And so whenever he comes up on any of my like timelines, I'm like glued in, but not enough to like be obsessed with him. Like very rarely am I obsessed with a person where I'm like, I need to know everything about them. I need to know everything that they do. But like, I listen to his podcast sometimes, and I listen to him when he's on other people's podcasts, and I'm like so impressed by him all the time. And so Asteroid made me think of him because he's a fucking black space nerd. I love that. He's so smart. And I was just listening to him on a podcast, Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. And he talks about a bunch of different things. And I'm grateful that he is either like an old Gen X or a young boomer who is still really in tune with the world and provides very scientific information, but not in a boring way. Like if we could have like Neil deGrasse Tyson, the science guy, as a TV show, like I would love that. I mean, I know he has a lot of different things going on, but anyways, yes. I love him. Now, I'm like, again, I'm not obsessed with him. I don't follow I don't know everything about his life. But like whenever he comes up, I'm like, what does he gotta say? What's he saying? He said that his favorite sci-fi movie was The Matrix. And why am I about to watch it again? There's just something really intriguing about him. And I feel like we're watching, it's almost like, how like, I don't know, for the Black people in the room, growing up, you learn about Harriet Tubman, you learn about Martin Luther King, you learn about Frederick Douglass, you learn about W.B. Du Bois, you learn about Marshall Good, you learn about Rosa Parks, like Martin Luther, like you learn about a lot of influential Black people, and then that's like civil rights kind of based, but then you learn about like the scientists and the authors and the people who aren't necessarily changing the world on a political scale, but changing it in other ways. And like, I feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson is that, and we're currently watching him do it. It's like if I could have watched Octavia Butler do what she did, and how we watched Maya Angelou do what she did, like we watched John Good Trouble, that guy, do what he did. Like it's like watching Neil is like being in Black history. I don't know explain it, but it's like he is our, like there's that one Black astronaut lady, I can't remember her name, I want to say Maya, but I know that's wrong, who went to space, and like there's just all these people, and you never hear about these scientists the way you hear about Washington Carver and the peanut, but you don't hear about the man who designed the Nerf gun. You know what I mean? It's like you hear about certain people, but the like Nerf gun guy we don't talk about as much. And so like I feel like Neil is that. But anyways, yes, I know he did redid the Cosmos. Yeah, I never watched it, but I've heard. Okay, anyways, that's all. That's my nerdy rant. Coming back to the stupid show Love Is Blind, where I could be talking about the stars, but I won't. I mean, if you guys have an opportunity to listen to him with Stephen Bartlett, like listen to him, because they talk about a bunch of different things. They talk about how he like thinks about people on the opposite side of the political spectrum to him. He talks about how he sci-fi movies. He talks about if we're ever going to go back to the moon. I don't know if you remember, but Chris and I, and maybe we didn't record it, but we had talked about the fact that like I was like, no, we have not been back to the moon since the Apollo whatever, right? The Apollo space program got shut down. We have not been back to the moon. That's such a big deal. You would think that NASA is like sending probes out and like doing all this stuff all the time, but it's not happening at the rate that you would think it would happen based on the space race. And he talks about how in this lifetime, in my lifetime, in your lifetime, we're not going to get to another planet. The amount of money it costs to do it, and the catalyst to make said exploration happen usually is because another country is doing something and we don't want them to be the first. We want to be the first. So it's not just this idea of exploration, the way that the crown supported exploration. And I say the crown, I mean the British crowns, supported exploration for people to go out and find other countries to colonize. Like it's not the same. We're not discovering new worlds, even though we still have so much more to discover on this planet, but like whatever. So anyways, great. I'm sorry. Let's get back to this dumb show. Yes, John Lewis. Yes, John Lewis. Anyways, let's get back. Okay. Check it out if you can. It's just super fucking interesting. We're super interesting. Okay. So we find out that Anton has a girlfriend that he really likes. And I find it so interesting. Sometimes the way people talk about their new partner, it's like they need to give their new partner all the validation in the world. And he's like, I'm dating a fantastic woman. She's so awesome. She gives me everything that I need. And I'm just like, you don't have to shit on Allie so much to big up your girl. Like, this situation between you and Allie was such a concentrated speed date type situation. And just because she didn't choose you doesn't necessarily mean that that's a rejection of you. I think that sometimes people need to recognize that not being chosen is a blessing in disguise. And she didn't choose you because you weren't right for her. And I think that when it comes to choosing the right partner, women have a little bit more need for details and intricacies. I think that we are away from a world in which women want to like fix a man, and this rhetoric that you have to just be there and you're the neck that turns the head type situation. I think that men have a lower, and I actually say it sounds wrong, but I just think in general, maybe as people, not including genders, that we want something that's a little bit more detailed and more tailor-made to us, especially if you're a little older. Like at this age, I'm not looking for a fixer-upper. I'm not looking for somebody that I need to like train or teach or like do whatever. I want somebody who comes to me either with 3/4 of what it is that I want in a person and malleable, or already that, or somewhere where I'm just like, well, F what I want. This person's so great. Like I can accept them not dressing well. That financial fit girl and like being clean is a non-negotiable. Like, I need you to be clean. But anyways, so yeah. So I just think it's interesting the way it felt like he was trying to like say like Allie would never measure up to her. And I'm like, was she ever meant to measure up to her? You picked Allie because she was cute and demure, and you thought that she was going to be somebody that she wasn't. And when she tried to call you out for drinking, and it was annoying to you, and instead of you just like picking up on those things and moving on, you decided to still want to marry her. Now, he and her both agree that the things that one girlfriend said in the bathroom were just really shady, and that he felt like she wanted to have her 15 minutes of fame. And I think so. Like he's felt like she had no reason to say anything that she said negative about him to Allie, because he didn't really know her and she didn't really know him. Like they had only been dating him, the friend and that girl, Melissa, I don't know her name. I'd only been dating for a few months. So how dare she go to the bathroom and like tell Allie all this negative stuff about him? So anyways, when asked if Allie was dating, Allie was like, I understand you were supposed to do this, but I want to keep my private life private. And so then I'm like, the answer is yes. Why not just lie? I don't understand why people choose to do things like say, I want to keep my private life private, when they could just lie. Oh, no, I'm not dating anyone. And then really be dating somebody. Because keeping your private life private, when someone asks you, are you dating somebody, means yes. So just say either no or yes, I am, but keeping my private life private. Thank you so much. Right? It's weird. Okay. Now we move on to KB and Edmmond. Now this is where we really know time erases all wounds. Because KB came with notes and Edmmond was like, I don't remember, to the point where Vanessa was like, you know what? Sounds like a trauma situation. And Edmond, we get it. You've been through a lot. And so sometimes when people have been through a lot, they forget things. And it sounds like you've forgotten a lot of things. And so we just had to be done with it. She had a lot to say, and he says that he had a lot to say. He, didn't really say anything though. She talked about how he would cry, and she felt like it was manipulative, and that he got on his knees and started crying. And he says that he didn't get on his knees, and she said, she felt very dismissed, and he says he doesn't remember. KB apologized for talking him any kind of way, and I agree with that. I'm somebody who, you can't talk to me any kind of way, and I won't talk to you any kind of way. Now, I might say something that's cutting. I might make a remark that hurts your feelings, but I'm not going to call you like a busted bitch. Like, I'm not going to call you out your name. I'm not. And I think that KB did a lot of times. Like, I think she said things to him that, I was out the other day, or not out, but I was at a spot, and a girlfriend called a boyfriend an idiot. She's like, "No, idiot. I can see that there are 3 bottles there." And I thought to myself, no one could ever call me an idiot. Like, no one can ever just call me names. You're not going to call me stupid. You're not going to call me an idiot. You're not going to make comments about my intelligence. You're not going to do any of those things. You're not going to belittle me with words. It's not something that I will ever tolerate under any circumstance. So when I hear other people doing it to other people that they say that they're in love with or in a relationship with, I think to myself, wow, I'm very particular in that fact. Like, you could never fucking talk to me like that. Ever. So I really think that it's really good that she apologized for talking to him, because she seems like somebody who would cuss somebody out, call him all kinds of things under the sun, and then say, "Oh, that's old KB." I'm like, nah, it's present KB. That's not old KB. And that was one of my comments to, call outs for her, is that she would say, "You're bringing out such and such in me." No, they're not bringing anything out in you. That is the way you fight. And until you learn that you can't just be calling anybody out their name and saying whatever you want to say to people, then you don't deserve this. You don't deserve me or him or whatever. Because regardless of what that person is doing, there's just no reason to just call somebody an idiot or call them names. It's just to me, it's uncouth. And so it's just really interesting, because she's like outlining all the things that he did and the reason why she had to say no. And he's just like, I didn't do that, KB. Like, I don't remember. I didn't get on my knees. And I'm like, girl, you got on the ground and licked it. And if the cameras didn't pick it up, you would deny having done that too. And that's okay, boo. But you need to recognize that your memory ain't what it ain't right, because of trauma response. And I've watched, clips of interviews where they ask him a direct question and he cannot respond in a clear sentence. And that's one of my downfalls. If you can't express yourself in 1 or 2 sentences, I'm out. I don't know. I can't do it. If you cannot express yourself in 1 or 2 sentences, girl, I don't know what to say. I don't want to hear it anymore. He's like, it's really humbling. The audience, they really humbled me. And I said, did nobody talk to poor Edmond before you got on this show? I am also very astounded at how astounded people are with the reactions that they get. These internet people will come on to your page and call you everything but a child of God, and they don't know anything about you based on what this television show is saying. And I'm a part of the problem, I think, to a certain extent, but I never will go to somebody's page, nor would I ever tell anyone else to go to somebody's page. My comments are going to be said out into the world, into the void. And I know they can be hurtful too. But the way these folks were eating up poor Edmmond just over saying he eats his boogers is wild to me. I don't have anything to say about that man who said he eats his boogers. Like, that's not for me. That's not for me. KB had to be looking for clout or something to have stayed with Edmmond all the way to the end. I don't necessarily know that it's clout. I think that she just wanted to stay through the process. I think that she didn't hate him, wasn't annoyed 100%, and was like, the mission is to get to the altar and say yes or no. And she got to the altar and she said no. My husband can't even call me smarty pants sarcastically. Oh yeah, I hate when people tell me I'm smart. There is an like when someone's like, "Oh my god, you're really smart." I'm like, I don't know why. As though they're also, I'm not really smart. Like, I take in information. I've said this. I've taken information based on observations. And sometimes I get curious about a culture or a situation and I Google it and I look it up and I retain that information. But I'm not out here just like, I couldn't even remember John Lewis's name. Like, I couldn't even remember Neil deGrasse Tyson's name, and I like him. So it's like, I'm not out here just like, writing things down. I'm not out here like, okay, the quantum physics of level L is the GY. I'm not that. I'm not writing code. People who write code are smart. People who read and write HTML, them fools are smart. I'm just a human moving through the world absorbing information. Now I realize now that a lot of people don't do that, but like that doesn't necessarily make me smart. And it also makes me feel like you think that you're not smart. Like, I would never tell someone, "Oh my god, you're really smart," unless they're like a 4-year-old who can read. Then I'm like, "Wow, that's really cool. You're so smart." But to tell another adult that they're so smart, to me, means that you are feeling some type of way. And I think that's why it upsets me, because whenever someone has told me that they're so smart, that I'm so smart, it's not the compliment that I want it to be. It's a little backhanded. Either you're so smart for, I don't know, a black person or a woman or what. I'm just a human moving through the world. I'm not reading. I'm not a PhD student. I'm not a historian. I'm not reading doctrine. I'm not studying the Constitution. Like, I'm not doing all these things that like actual smart people are doing. I just be moving. So I just think it makes me feel like you then think that I'm too smart or too whatever. And it makes me feel like moving forward, there's going to be a negative insult coming to with my smartness that you're going to say to me. I don't know why. Trauma. I got to think about it. Okay. I think KB mistreated him, especially how she spoke to him. I agree. Oh my god, wow, I have a family member who, as soon as they start talking, I'm like, tell me in 20 words or less. Yes. As a special education teacher, their scenes were hard to watch. Edmmond is definitely on the spectrum. Oh. In Trinidad, calling someone smarty pants is insinuating that you're not smart. Yeah. That's like kind of how I think of it too. Like, when you tell me, when I'm dating a guy and he's like, "You're so smart," I'm like, "Are you saying that you're not, or are you like it's telling? It is telling when someone says that, because I would never tell someone that they're so smart. Besides a 4-year-old, I would just assume that most adults have a lot of information because they're roaming the earth, paying bills, taking care of children, being a citizen of the world. Like, so I think that, to me, on the standards that I hold myself to, there's a baseline of like information, and it's I don't judge people who don't have it, but for me, there is a baseline of things that I need to know that are going on in the world. I don't know. I just need to know personally. Is this Trinidad? Did I get that right? What flag is that? No, not Trinidad. It's an island though, no? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I almost said Scotland, but I know that's wrong. because I know what the Scottish flag looks like. Anyways, that's the end of the episode. Blake brings out a cake to wish Jordan a happy birthday. And then the ninja comes out and they make like ice cream or something. Like this episode was sponsored by Ninja. And they bring out some kind of like ice cream or something ice maker. Yay, I did it. I got it right. I'm so smart. No, I just want to fucking know flags of the world. So in case I end up in some situation, I can be like, Trinidad. Anyways. So yeah. That's the end of the episode, you guys. I mean, they only gave us a month worth of content, and thank God, because I could not do anymore. This was a lot, but it was fun watching with you guys. Thank you so much for joining. If you have the hee hee ha ha's while watching this and you want to give your girl a tip, you can do so with the options down below. Melissa, thank you so much. And that was it. I'm going to go have dinner with my friend who is spying on my channel. Instead of answering my text messages. Thank you, Asteroidia. Thank you, Marsha. Thank you, Domestic Godita. And anyone else in the room, thank you so much for supporting me and watching this. And I will see you tomorrow where we talk about 90 Day Fiancé the other way. And we also talk about Seeking Sister Wife. There will be an hour and a half in between because I have to go to book club. So we're doing 90 Day Fiancé the other way at 6 p.m. And then at 8:30, we're doing Seeking Sister Wife. All right. Text me and tell me where you want to go. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Jump in the line, rock your body on time. Okay, I believe you. Jump in the line, rock